Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, Tiffany.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, all. With immense pleasure, I welcome all of you to this great gathering. As you know, the great things always has a humble beginning. By looking back, it is amazing to know that it was over a conference call among the trio, me, Alex and Munir, the seeds of BINOCS took its form first. It is a humble attempt to revitalize and rejuvenate the academic arena that was stagnant and dormant due to the spread of global pandemic. Initially, we have planned conducting a webinar for our batchmates, but fortunately, it goes beyond our expectation and culminated it as the largest webinar festival of Kerala. Today, we are giving a platform through BINOCS for the confluence of ideas by bringing together the intelligentsia, which consists of various renowned personality. BINOCS is a small attempt to enhance your vision and widens your perspectives regarding different and relevant topics, which is very important for the national as well as the global scenario. Initially, we just conveyed our plan to conduct a webinar festival to our beloved principal of our training college. Then she warmly accepted our suggestion and gave all the ample supports. Now let me begin the section by welcoming all of you. First of all, I extend my hearty welcome for our beloved principal itself. Our principal is Jabimol Simaidin, who is a great figure for our college, who is the guardian, guide, and nurse of our college, who always gives immense support for all our programs. And she is a very energetic and talented woman. And let me welcome you, ma'am, to this great gathering.
Thank you.
Secondly,
Thank you, Russell.
Secondly, our speaker is Stephanie Brar, who is a great figure for us. We are very privileged for your presence, ma'am, here in our gathering. So let me welcome you for this gathering. Next, I welcome all of you, the spectators of the program. It is your presence made it a wonderful, great, and the largest webinar fest of our state. Now, I hope it would be a great experience for you, and the festival will enhance your knowledge and widens your perspective with the feast of knowledge. Let me welcome all of you to this great gathering. And we have with us the moderator of the program, Mr. Alex Babu, the chief coordinator of the program, who possesses rich life experience by working among different sets of people. And I also welcome Alex Babu to this gathering. And now the stage is yours, Miss Principal. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. A very warm greetings to our beloved chief guest of the day, Tiffany Brar, and all the other participants who are present over here. I'm so happy and privileged. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm so happy and privileged to stand in front of you as the principal of Al-Azhar Training College, the mentor of the organizers of this largest program, BINOCS, Kerala's largest webinar festival. As my student Russell said, this is a feast of knowledge, which bring you to gather and acquire knowledge through 18 more renowned speakers in various areas like education, culture, art, science, literature, motivation, cinema, etc. Here, you will get a greatest opportunity to listen and interact with these renowned speakers. So, grab this opportunity. And I wonder that we have got 1,500 registration from 20 states in Kerala. The participants include faculties, students, research scholars, and many other persons from 400 colleges. And of course, we have got many registrations from common people who have a thirst for knowledge. So we guarantee you all that this program will illuminate your mind during this pandemic situation. And I must say that we are so lucky to have an inspiring personality like Tiffany Brar as our chief guest today. She doesn't need any introduction. Her name itself is a brand name of inspiration. She is a born fighter, a very determined woman. She never let her disability to stand as a hindrance in her moving forward. She always wanted to treat like the way we wish to be treated. And she is the founder of Jyotirgamaya, a pioneer institution in India, which is a non-profit organization and which entered to empower the persons with visual impairment. And of course, like all the other participants, I am also eagerly waiting to hear her inspiring words, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being with us in this journey. And I wish all the very best to all the participants and my students for organizing this program. And have a nice evening. Thank you. Over to you, Alex.
It's a great privilege to have with us Tiffany Brar. So I would like to give an introduction to Tiffany Brar. She became blind 6 months after birth due to an overdose of oxygen. However, she did not let her blindness stop her from reaching the sky. She has faced and successfully overcome several challenges which have given her the necessary drive to start Jyotirgamaya. She started her early education in Great Britain, where learning by doing was the learning method, after which she returned to India, where she first landed in Kerala. Here, the regional language was the medium of instruction in blind schools. She was educated in both schools for the blind as well as integrated schools and had to undergo several challenges in both. She would sit at the back of the class, had to wait for a long time to get her braille notes, and was not taught necessary survival skills at that right time. It was at that tender age of 8 that she vowed that she would do something for her fellow blind colleagues. After completing her degree, she started working, which enabled her to travel by herself and sharpen her mobility skills. She visited many blind organizations and people and found that there were many backbenchers who were fighting discrimination and who lacked the skills. She went on to do her B.Ed special education from Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda University, and then she started a mobile blind school where she traveled to the homes of blind people in the nooks and corners of the state, trying to impart training to them in all necessary skills. In the year 2015, she realized that much more had to be done, and she started the Jyotirgamaya Foundation, which now provides training to blind people in rural areas who are unable to come to the training center, and also residential training courses to blind people in all necessary skills, paving the way for their employment, integration, and assimilation into the mainstream. And that is why she is named as the courageous daughter of India by Dr. Ramnath Kovind, the President of India. She has received umpteen number of awards, like the Women of the Year Award from Hope Trust, the prestigious Sarthak Nari Women Achievers Award, Bold and Beautiful Award from Doordarshan, the Age of Unknown Award by TEDx, the National Award for being a Best Role Model from the President of India in 2017, the Women of Vision Kerala Vanitharatna Award, the Phoenix Award from Padma Shri Mammootty, Karmaratna Award for Outstanding Social Worker from PAM International, Helankala Award from National Center for Promotion of Employment for Disabled People, awarded by Dr. Satyapal Singh, Honorable Minister for Human Resource in 2018. It's our privilege to have Tiffany Brar as our chief guest on this inaugural ceremony of BINOCS National Webinar Festival. Tiffany has opened the doors of minds of spectators that physical darkness is not the end of life, but a pathway to greater success. Every hurdle in our life gives an opportunity to breathe the spirit of resurrection, to give rise to new possibilities. The best person to speak over this topic and share the experience is Tiffany Brar. So ladies and gentlemen, let's open our ears to listen to Tiffany Brar. Over to you, Tiffany.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, good evening.
I'm sorry, I have a cold, but a very good evening to one and all. ഈ ഒരു ഘട്ടത്തിൽ അത്ര ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ ആണോ എന്ന് പറയാൻ ഇപ്പൊ സാധിക്കില്ല. We cannot say that we are always positive because of the current situation and because of the way we are all right now, lockdown, also the spread of the pandemic in our state. We never thought that this pandemic would take over our state, literally. The roads are empty or hardly any public transport. And this has caused a lot of inaccessibility, especially for blind people. Because I myself depend on public transport. So for me, it is like a bird being put into a cage. There is no outlet. So എനിക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ അത്ര പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ട് തോന്നുന്നില്ല കാര്യങ്ങൾ. But എങ്കിൽ പോലും I'm really, really happy that all the moderators of this college have organized this, and also the principal, sir. I mean, thank you so much for all your support. So we should learn how to think about the haves and not the have-nots. What we have. നമുക്ക് എന്താണ് ഉള്ളത്? Okay, lockdown ആണ്. നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങോട്ട് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നില്ല. നമുക്ക് ഒരുപാട് പരിമിതികളുണ്ട്. But you still have some options. You can use your two-wheelers, you can use your bikes, you can use some private vehicles, you can go and meet people, but you still have to maintain social distancing. I can imagine how it is for college students who cannot meet each other, who cannot have that bantering in the class that, "Ayyo, ennada? Ayyo, enda nee padicho?" You know, there's no unity, right? Hello?
Yeah.
So there is no unity because of this COVID and because of the pandemic. And so many children are distressed. At the same time, now the government has introduced WFH, the new acronym, work from home, learn from home also, online education or digital learning, virtual classroom. But how much is it benefiting people? I know a lot of students who just, അവർ ജസ്റ്റ് ആ ലിങ്കിൽ കയറും, സൂമിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഗൂഗിൾ മീറ്റിൽ ജസ്റ്റ് കയറും, ഓൺ ആക്കി വെച്ചിട്ട് അവരവരുടെ വഴിക്ക് പോകും. But are the teachers really seeing whether these students are in the class, whether they are attentive? Is it really helping them? Or are they just doing it for the sake of doing it? Students ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒക്കെ അറ്റൻഡൻസ് കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടി, ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് ചെയ്യുന്നു അവരുടെ വീട്ടുകാര്യം തന്നെ നാട്ടുകാര്യത്തിന്റെ ഇടയിൽ. But this has to change. There should be more and more engagement in these online sessions, more and more interaction, more and more question answers. A lot of things are still needed in this digital platform, especially in college education. Even for persons with disabilities, this online digital classroom is not at all accessible. Even the Arogya Setu app is not accessible nowadays. Well, I grew up with a lot of challenges, a lot of discrimination. I was thrown out of the class at the age of 8 for giving the right answer. That's what made me think. That's what woke me up. Now, even our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, was thrown out of the train in South Africa. That's what made him wake up and think. So everyone has a pinching point. Now, unless you have that pinching point, you don't go further. You just think life is okay. It's okay the way it is. എന്നെ ബാധിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ എനിക്ക് എന്താ? പക്ഷെ അങ്ങനല്ല. സമൂഹത്തിൽ മറ്റ് പല ഇഷ്യൂസ് നമ്മളെ ബാധിക്കുന്നത് വരെ നമ്മൾ കാത്തിരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. We have to retaliate. We have to make change. Because I'm a part of my target group, because I'm blind, there are many sighted people who have started organizations for the blind. And they claim to be doing things in the charity model. People with disabilities are seen in 3 models: the social model, the medical model, and the charity model. Now, in India, we all adopt the charity model. We're always, "Ayyo, pavam kannu kanduda, ayyo, pavam nadakkan vayya." അവർ പാട്ട് പാടുവാണെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് 2 രൂപ, 4 രൂപ, 10 രൂപ, അത് അവരുടെ ലൈവ്ലിഹുഡ് ആണ്. That you can give, but give it for the services, because they're singing a song and you like their voice, not because they are blind or not because you're sympathizing with them. Ayyo pavam, we don't need that. We just want your love and affection, unconditional, irrespective of whether we were blind or not. We want the government's pension because a lot of us don't have jobs. That's why we want pension. But we want more and more job opportunities to improve for us so that we don't have to take this government pension. നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും job opportunities equal ആയിട്ട് കിട്ടുവാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഈ പെൻഷന്റെ ആവശ്യം വരില്ല. പക്ഷെ ആ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടാത്തത് കൊണ്ട്, ആ ഈക്വൽ ആയിട്ട് നമ്മളെ സമൂഹം ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യാത്തത് കൊണ്ട്, നമുക്ക് ഒത്തിരി എബിലിറ്റീസ് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് സമൂഹം മനസ്സിലാക്കാത്തത് കൊണ്ട്, we have to depend on the pension that the government is giving. 1,500 rupees or 2,500 rupees. And is that enough? Once in 3 months, imagine, can you live on that? It's very difficult. And in my organization also, we face this difficulty. In this lockdown, there have been many blind people who have been unable to pay their rent, unable to make their ends meet. And I've just been trying to help them, because even I find existence as a social worker very difficult. I also cannot make my ends meet financially, because it's very hard at this period. So we should do what we can. As students, you can do voluntary work. You can spread the message, spread positivity among whoever you can. It doesn't cost anything. And when you grow up and earn, then you can help others, help them with whatever you can. But don't wait for that pinching point until you have a family member or a friend who has an accident or who gets disabled or who becomes disabled. There are many ministers and people who I know. ഞാൻ അവരുടെ ഓഫീസുകളിൽ പോയിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ആവശ്യങ്ങൾക്കായിട്ട്. ഓ ഇല്ല, നാളെ വരൂ, ആ കൗണ്ടറിൽ പോകും, ഇത് ചെയ്യൂ, അത് ചെയ്യൂ. പക്ഷെ അവരുടെ അതേ രീതിയിൽ അവരുടെ ഏതെങ്കിലും ബന്ധുക്കൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ആക്സിഡന്റ് അപകടം പറ്റിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരുടെ ആരെങ്കിലും ഇതേപോലെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സാഹചര്യത്താൽ അവർ വൈകല്യമായി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അയ്യോ, ഇപ്പോഴാണ് എനിക്ക് നിങ്ങളുടെ അവസ്ഥ മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത്. ആ ഒരു അവസ്ഥ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നവരെ, നിങ്ങൾക്കൊരു അവസ്ഥ വരുന്നവരെ നിങ്ങൾ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാതെ നിങ്ങൾ അല്ലാതെ തന്നെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ അവസ്ഥ മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക. ഞങ്ങളെ നിങ്ങളെ പോലെ തന്നെ ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ഇതാണ് എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത് സമൂഹത്തോട്. Treat everyone the way you wish to be treated. Now, we didn't know that this whole world is going to come to a standstill, that there's going to be a pandemic, that there's going to be people whose lives come to standstill. We don't care about migrant workers. Why? ഓ, അവരെ ഹിന്ദിക്കാര്, അവര് ബംഗാളികൾ, അവര് വരുന്നു, അവര് ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്നു. പക്ഷെ അവരുടെ കാര്യം നമ്മൾ ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? They build our state, and now where are they? They're on the road. A lot of them have gone back, but okay, those who are there, no one cares for them. Hardly of us care for them. Do what you can for others, even if it's giving them a glass of water. Do what you can. You may not be able to change the government policies in one day, but you can raise your voice. നമ്മൾ സ്ട്രൈക്ക് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നത് നിങ്ങളുടെ കോളേജിൽ, എല്ലാ കോളേജസിൽ, I'm not saying in your college, but in every college there is KSU, SFI, this, that. You have strikes for many little things. Why not have strikes for big things? Make big changes. That's what I want to tell the future generation of tomorrow. Be positive, make big changes, and don't wait for that pinching point. You are the pinching point. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for your words. Now the participants can send your doubts, questions to Tiffany in the chat box. Ma'am, I have heard that you have been telling that you wanted to fly, fly like anything. You have taken a lot of adventures and so on. So what was your experience, being a normal person as others, we want to treat you like the same way as we are. So, what was your feeling when you wanted to, that flying? What was your
Well,
experience?
I asked my mother when I was small that I want to fly like birds. I mean, I was always fascinated by the wings of birds and, by hearing them flapping their wings. And then a few years ago in 2017, I got an opportunity to do skydiving and paragliding. In Belgium and in Darjeeling. So it was a very good experience to actually feel the air, feel the breeze on my ears, and actually jump from 4,000 feet high. I mean, of course, I was with someone with a tandem, but it was an exhilarating experience going up, coming down, being in the air, literally feeling the air. Because വിമാനത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് ആ physical ആ ഒരു feeling കിട്ടത്തില്ലല്ലോ. You don't actually feel that you're flying. I mean, of course, the sighted people can see, but I really felt that when I was naturally in the air. So, it was a very exhilarating, enjoyable experience. And also, a lot of people with disabilities don't get this opportunity. So I'm very privileged and thankful to God and thankful to the people who gave me this opportunity.
Yeah, ma'am. And what's your experience in Jyotirgamaya? How do the students enjoy, the teaching experience there, and how do they learn the things?
Well, how do they learn? Well, our main focus is computers and access technology. We teach them how to be technologically self sufficient because technology is the need of the hour. So, we teach them how to use a computer with a screen reader, how to use an Android phone, how to use different apps, how to use an iPhone. We teach them how to use record players. We teach them language and interpersonal skills. And recently, we have started vocational training. Of course, we can't do that during this point of time because it requires a lot of touching and a lot of other things. But we give them a family feeling. We teach them according to their needs. It's not that, oh, നീ ഇരിക്കടാ പഠിക്കടാ. I mean, അവരുടെ ആവശ്യത്തിനനുസരിച്ച് അവരുടെ സ്പീഡ് അനുസരിച്ച് അവർക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ ചില ദിവസങ്ങളിൽ some of them have some illnesses. I mean, some of them feel tired in the afternoons. So we give them that leeway. It's not a rigid system. It's not a rigid system that we, and also we have now received some feedback from some of them that they want people to read to them. They want some training in PSC, competitive exam. So we've started that also. So it's a very flexible, relaxed way of training that we have in Jyotirgamaya. And of course, we have our Facebook page of facebook.com/Jyotirgamaya, and jyotirgamayaindia.org is our website. You can always go through it and give your ideas or share. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a question that you are talking about the
Yes.
job opportunities for the visually impaired. So, what are those job opportunities that you seem to do?
Well, in other cities like Bangalore, people are working for companies like IBM, and people are working for different, I mean, medical transcription and other things. But here in Trivandrum and also in Cochin, people are just learning about the job opportunities for people with visually impairment. I mean, they can work as customer relations. They can be, I mean, they can work in hotels. They can work in companies as accessibility testers. They can work as receptionists. They can work as a customer relations. They can do this work with the help of their software, job access with speech and non-visual desktop application. These are the main two prime softwares which are used in Windows in the computers. And normally blind people work with Word, Excel, and internet browsers. We can use all browsers. We are familiar with those things. So the people have to be a little open and a little flexible and a little adaptable to our needs. Then the job opportunities can experience can increase. We already have a lot of blind people who are in government sector, who are college lecturers, school teachers, bank uh, officers. But even in the school teaching, a lot of the school books are not, I mean, digital. They have to go digital so that the teachers who are in schools do not have to depend on their, I mean, spouses or their children to read the questions and correct the answers for them. I mean, there has to be some independence and accessibility. Now recently a boy in Calicut by the name of Harun was the first person to write his SSLC exam on the computer. So more such opportunities should be given. We all, in my time, we used to write with the help of a scribe, but now people are going digital. So we all should go digital with the time, and more and more blind organizations are there. I mean, Angada Blind School is there. Malappuram Ability Foundation is there in Malappuram. Here we have Jyotirgamya, we have Kerala Federation of the Blind. We have blind schools here in Trivandrum and in Varkala. In Cochin also we have some centers called RCG, Rotary Global Cochin Center. We have other centers which are imparting computer education and technological education. All blind schools have made it compulsory that people learn computers up till the 6th and 7th standard. So ഇതൊക്കെ എന്തായാലും പ്രയോജനകരം ആയിരിക്കണം എന്ന് എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു ഫ്യൂച്ചറിൽ. We hope. And now everyone's very advanced. Blind people are very tech savvy. They're on Telegram, they're on Unigram, they are, creating their own channels. People are doing things. YouTube channels all are blind വ്യക്തികളുണ്ട്. Yeah, so everyone's doing their part.
Yeah, there is another question. What was your pinching point in your life to be a social worker?
Well, I think the experiences that I went through, the people that I met, even if I see people like helpers, like, fish ladies, like people, അവര് അത്രയും കഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്നു. Even when my father went to a restaurant, I used to feel, why is he spending so much money on a restaurant when a fish lady is suffering, when another person is saying that she has so much debt, when our own house helpers in the army used to suffer because of some other reason. Why should he spend that money? എനിക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഒരു തോന്നലുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. And plus the situation of my blind friends, they couldn't come out of the house, they were also not treated well. I was thrown out of the class at the age of 8 because of giving the right answer, only because of my disability. So I wanted to do two things. I wanted to help blind people to come up to the forefront and not be backbenchers anymore, unless they wanted to be. That's a different thing. And I wanted to, help people where they needed help. So the social thing and the disability thing came together.
Okay. And what is the most difficult challenge that you ever faced?
Well, challenges now on the organization front, we are facing challenges with parents. A lot of parents don't believe that, their blind children can travel alone or do a lot of things. So there needs to be a lot of attitudinal change, and also challenges on the part of the government. The government doesn't, like recently there were some issues in the Rights of Persons with Disability Act. They wanted to charge people for, people with disabilities if they commit any crimes, and things like that. Then then those things were eliminated from the act. And but because a lot of people raised their voice, even money, the currency notes were changed in one night in 2016. Just one night. Even this lockdown was declared in just one night. It didn't give deaf people time to react. It didn't give people with other disabilities to change their currency. All these things were just one night decisions. And it it harmed us a lot. It harmed a lot of people with disabilities. Sometimes like the 200 rupee note and the 50 rupee note and all was of same color. So it was very difficult for people to make transactions and all that. We would think that we have given 100 rupees, but we would have given 400 rupees. So it was very, very difficult. And now Reserve Bank of India has come out with an app called the Money app, MANI Money, and that helps us to identify notes up to certain extent. But still, we have to hold the notes in a particular angle and this and that. So my suggestion was that to have the notes of different sizes rather than of similar sizes, so that we can identify with the size. So a lot of challenges are there, and we have to keep fighting.
Yeah. And how should the youngsters support the blind people? Here.
Well, I'm not saying you should support only blind people. Support whoever you can. If you have a poor person in your college, support them by, giving food to them, or by giving them, lower fees, or by reading to them, or by giving them your old books if you have. And how can you support blind people? By getting in touch with the blind schools in your area. And Todupuzha, there is a blind school, and you can also contact them. And Kalaketi Blind School is also there in Kottayam. You can support them by reading to them, by going and converting audio content, books into audio content. Everyone can support by money. Yes. And so I would say you can do those kind of things. And also as college students, if you're doing engineering, try to rack your brains and brainstorm and see if you can bring about some app which can be like a GPS for the blind, or a better money identification app, or something like that. Some kind of innovations.
Yeah. There is a message by Lisa Marina Zakaria, who is a journalist, has said that she can help you in finding jobs in journalism.
We can try. Well, yeah. There are people who are doing journalism. I can let you know. Yeah, you can always contact through our page. Yeah, thank you.
And there is a question that nowadays the hot topic is equality. So, what is equality meant for vulnerable people, including handicapped ones? How should our cities need to be? How should be our cities need to be redesigned for every form of life? Like it should be how it should be changed.
Well, according to Article 9 of the United Nations Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, all public and private services, including roads, public buildings, even digital information, digital spaces, public spaces, are all accessible for persons with disabilities. Now, the RPW Act, Rights of Persons with Disability Act in 2016, has ratified this. India has ratified the UNCRPD in 2006. So we should, and also the collector Balakiran sir of Kannur, he had tried to make his collectorate and some of the buildings in Kannur, accessible. So, and also there is an Accessible India campaign, but still the roads are still full of slabs and potholes and all in many districts of Kerala and many states of India. So the roads can be made accessible. The road workers, the construction workers, the police, the government should all be made aware of persons with disabilities. ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി പേഴ്സൺസ് വിത്ത് ഡിസബിലിറ്റീസും വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് വെളിയിൽ ഇറങ്ങാൻ വളരെ അത്യാവശ്യമുണ്ട്. എപ്പോഴല്ല, ഈ കോവിഡ് സമയം കഴിയട്ടെ. Don't misinterpret me. But we take our students to places like Big Bazaar, to places like Mall of Travancore. We take them out shopping so that the people there see them regularly, and then they understand how to help them or how to assist them. Because when they come for the first time, ആരും അവരെ തിരിഞ്ഞു നോക്കില്ല. ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരെ നോക്കിയിട്ട് അയ്യോ 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 എന്ന് പറയും. പക്ഷെ അവർ 4-5 തവണ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, when they have been there regularly, then the people are used to them. Then people know that okay, ഇവര് എന്തായാലും വരും. So we have to help them. Now, in European countries like Belgium and Germany and Poland, where I have visited, even England for that matter, there are shopkeepers who assist the visually impaired. They stop the work that they're doing and they assist the visually impaired. They take them around, they help them carry their trolleys, they ask them what they need, and they help them pay their bills. Now, here, people don't do that, but recently they have started because our blind students kept going on regularly. So they have started it now. So it happens when there is a need. So we have to bring out equality. It's not an easy process, but we can all do it together.
And there is a question that how can we serve the disabled people, not in the terms of sympathy, but how it should be served? What do you expect?
Well, that's what I said. Serve in whichever way you can. If you can transcribe content for them, do that. If you're a software person, you can develop some apps, do that. If you have money, help them by buying something for them or giving them money if they need, or giving money to organizations that need. If you have someone, face to face, who help that person where they need help. Reach out to them. And for a start, when you meet a person with disability, address the person directly. Don't ask, oh, ivarke enda vendathu, what does she want? She has a mouth, he has a mouth, or she or he, if they don't have a mouth, they have sign language, they have some way of communicating what they want. So help them the way you can. I'm not saying only help blind people. Help the deaf, help the cerebral palsy people, help the locomotor. There are 21 disabilities according to the recent RPWD Act. Help them in whatever way you can, but with your skills.
Yeah. And what's your ultimate goal that you want to achieve in your life?
Well, I have not really set a goal, but yes, I want to empower as many blind people as I can. Yes.
And then what's your opinion regarding the films where blind people are seen, they are shown as something differently abled, in an extraordinary manner they are being projected in the screens. So,
Well,
what's your opinion?
Oppam was a good movie. Oppam, where Mohanlal acted as a blind person. I mean, it was a good movie. Black was a good movie. In 2006, there was a movie called Black where Amitabh Bachchan and Rani Mukherjee acted. It was I mean, it was an eye opener about showing the abilities of a blind person or a deaf-blind person. It showed the braille assistive devices and all. And yeah, but in some movies, they should show the capabilities of people with disabilities. That is what they should show. The independence, the capabilities. Yeah, it should show them in a good light, not in a sympathetic light.
If you can remember, what was your feeling that when you first realized that you have a disability?
No,
Uh,
well, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this question because 6 months after my birth, I was blind.
okay,
So I
yeah,
don't really consider it as a disability. And I don't really remember how I felt because I started feeling myself only after going blind. So I never saw the sighted society. But I guess my parents must have felt very shocked. They tried to rectify my disability by sending me here and there and taking me to this hospital, that hospital. And later on, they itself realized that my problem was retinitis pigmentosa, which was not curable during that time, and they decided no. But now I'm really happy that I'm blind. I'm proud that I'm blind. The only thing I miss doing is driving a car, but otherwise I'm quite happy with my disability. I can see things from my inner eyes. I can feel nature. I can hear voices. I can describe people. I can do my own work myself, except cook. But if I learn, I think I can do that. And I also have a motherly figure who helps me cook and helps me a little bit. But I can do my own work as much as I can. I don't have to be a burden to anyone, and I can earn, I can speak, I can conduct sessions. So I don't think I'm a burden to anyone, and I'm happy the way I am.
the time that you spend with
And
this.
I'm also not afraid of asking for help. Now, there are a lot of people who are afraid of asking for help, who think that അവർ കുറഞ്ഞു പോകും, അവരുടെ ഈഗോ കുറഞ്ഞു പോകും. പക്ഷെ നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഹെൽപ്പ് വേണം. Man is a social animal, and we should not be afraid of asking help. We should not be afraid of being polite or even apologizing, even if it's not our fault. In some stages, നമ്മൾ അയ്യോ സോറി ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞു ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു സോറി പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, നമ്മുടെ ഒന്നും കുറഞ്ഞു പോകത്തില്ല. The person will want to help us more. So, and also when we have a disability, we should be a little more polite to the other person, or because I mean, we need their help, and if we need their help, we should be polite to them. So that's how we I mean, we should not be too egoistic, and we should not be too, I mean, sympathetic. I mean, we should be in between, I think. I mean, we should exert and fight for our rights. At the same time, we should also understand that we need the help of the so-called normal community, and we should be nice to them. So, but at the same time, we should not be too nice that they sit on our head. We should be equal and be balanced.
Do you think that the government has done all the things that are needed for the blind people, like the
No, I don't
schools?
think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, there are blind schools, but I don't think they have done everything that they need to do. They need to make roads accessible. They need to make public transport. I mean, uh, accessible. The blind schools have improved a lot since I was small. They have improved. Yes, I can say that they have improved.
Okay. What are the most important considerations when planning for our students who are blind or visually impaired?
Well, important considerations for students, well, they should be given a laptop, they should be given a smartphone, they should have the necessary screen readers, they should be taught how to use a computer properly, they should have digital content at their disposal, like a soft copy of the notes, I mean, should be given to them, or if they have a record player or something, at least recorded content should be given to them. So these kind of considerations, if there are any images in PPTs, the PPT can be converted into a Word document and given to them with image descriptions. Alternative text should be used by the teachers even while reading a book, and there's a picture. Describe the picture. Okay, so this picture contains this or that. It doesn't take long. If you are showing movies in your college, there should be some kind of audio description. Yeah, these are the considerations for people with visual impairment.
There are in between. There are a lot of lots of messages coming that you are a wonderful person and an inspiration, and we are happy that you are with us. And so I would also like to ask, how should we develop the skills? Like we are with a lot of abilities, and what's your suggestion for us? We Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are with a lot of abilities, and we don't realize the difficulties of disability. So, what's your suggestion for us?
Well, as I said in my discussion itself, I said, don't wait for someone of your family or your friends to become disabled. Before that itself, try and be aware of the difficulties of people. Because it's only when you have a pinching point, you will come and say that, oh, now I know about your challenge. So don't wait for that, At the young age itself, have some kind of awareness of people with disabilities. Article 6 of the Rights of Persons with Disability Act promotes inclusive education for, people with disabilities in schools, colleges, and other educational institutions. So, these kind of things should be taken into consideration. Also, there is a new policy. Also, there is a new education policy now. So that also is there, and we should take that. And that has also given very clearly that there should be provisions for people with disabilities, children with disabilities.
Yeah. And the question, what was your experience when you received the award that you are the role model, and the president said the courageous woman of India?
Well, it was a moment of pride, because out of so many 1.2 billion people in this country, and after about, I think, 1,000 people, and I think 200 or 300 awardees, the president addressed me out of them. It was a very proud moment, and I'm very grateful to the president even now that he recognized my capabilities. And there are many people out there who are capable and who should be addressed by the president.
Yeah. Ma'am, we know that you are not well. So I think we shall wind up because you are not keeping well. And
No,
it's
I'm
all
well. I'm well. I have no problem.
no.
I'm not unwell, actually. It's just the normal allergy, so it's okay. I'm not unwell. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then there's a question that are you okay with the reservation that is given for the visually impaired people in the
Yes, I
government
think there.
service?
Yeah, I think reservation should be given until, people come up. Now, why were the lower caste people given, reservations? They were given reservations so that, they come up in life, and now they have come up. So there should be reservations for visually impaired people, at least until a time is there where they don't need them. So, in order to bring people up, the government should introduce certain schemes. And then when they feel that, okay, it's not needed, that visually impaired people are equal now and they can, work and things like that, and they can find jobs easily, then it can be removed. But I think for now it's needed.
Yeah. So
But
then,
also their own hard work is needed. It's not that if you get low marks, you just get in there because of a reservation. No, it should be coupled with your merit. It should not be completely charity, but it should help you. The reservation should just be a catalyst to help you get that job.
and there is also another question that what's your concept about beauty?
Beauty. Well, I think the world is a beautiful place. If there is no pollution, if the environment is taken care of, I think the world is a beautiful place. And yeah, well, my concept about beauty is, I'm not a very fashionable person. I don't, go around wearing makeup and all that. But I, I like girls.
Yeah.
I think that they should do it. I think that if it makes them happy, I think their disability should not stop them from wearing eyeliner or mascara or bangles or, beautiful saris. I'm not a one to do that because I'm always running around, for different programs and, teaching and things like that. So I'd rather prefer to be more like a tomboy, but I encourage girls to do their fashion. To wear bindis, to wear sindoor, to wear, whatever they like. To wear heels if they want, not just because, and also boys if they want to be handsome in some case. I mean, a disability should not, I mean, people should not say, oh, I'm blind, no one's going to look at me, why should I do makeup? No, you do makeup for yourself. You are look beautiful for yourself. So your disability, or also the fact of a lot of people now use this cream fair and lovely. I mean, ಈ fair and lovely ಅರ್ಥ ಎಂತನೋ ಬೆಳಕು. So you should be happy with your color. God has given you a certain skin color. Be happy with it. Okay, you can look beautiful, you can wear the cream, but don't think that you are inferior because of your skin color. God gave you that skin color for a purpose. Do what you can with that. Spread a message, do something, look nice for you, not because people will I mean, if you want to apply that cream, that should be your jurisdiction, because you want your skin to look nice, so you want to apply it, but not because you അത് ഇട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ ആൾക്കാർ എന്ത് പറയും, ഞാൻ കറുപ്പാണെന്ന് ആൾക്കാർ പറയൂല. ആൾക്കാരെ വിട്, നിങ്ങളുടെ സന്തോഷം ഏതിലാണോ അത് ചെയ്യുക. Don't be afraid of your skin color, be proud of it.
Yeah. Ma'am, how do you enjoy the nature?
Well, I enjoy it by feeling it. I mean, by feeling the trees. I mean, yeah, by feeling the flowers, touching a few flowers, by smelling, by feeling the wind. I mean, I like wind. I mean, when I'm angry, or when my, like after a long car journey, if I feel suffocated, if I stand in fresh air, I feel energized, I feel positive. So also listening to the sound of birds and all that. I mean, it gives a tranquility. Listening to the waves of the sea, the sound of birds, the wind, all these things, you know, these are all things which are part of nature. Touching things, touching soil.
There is a question that do you have any role model?
No, I don't.
And what is the difference?
I learn from everyone who I meet.
Do you see any difference between, what's the difference between normal and different? According to you, what's the difference between normal and
I don't think there is, well, normal, the so-called normal is people who are not disabled, people who are not, I mean, different in their thinking. I mean, people who don't challenge the status quo, people who are not, yeah, I mean, people, I mean, heterosexual beings, they are all normal. But if you're a little bit different, you're considered as abnormal. Like if you're a dwarf, or if you're a person with disability, or if you're homosexual, or if something is there, you're considered as abnormal or different. So I don't think that people should be considered as normal and abnormal. I mean, if you don't like certain concepts, that's your personal lookout, but don't generalize someone according to that.
What's your take on standardizing the Indian Sign Language across the country, the new national education policy?
A sign language, I'm not so much aware. I've not looked up into that. I'm sorry.
Okay. What was the most daring thing that you have ever done?
Well, I don't think there was something really daring. I just, I think the adventures I did were quite challenging. I mean, according to a girl with a disability, would not really go and do that in India, skydiving or paragliding, or rope climbing, and these kind of things. But I think it was, well, I don't think it was extraordinary. Like only I can do it, but I felt good, and I felt that other girls can do it. That was the message I wanted to put across.
So how do you inspire your students at Jyotirgamaya?
Well, I told you, this is what we teach them, and this is how we train them. And I mean, we train them to be independent. We train them to go out to buy their stuff. We take them shopping. We take them out for adventure trips like this. We've taken them to, I mean, Tenmala, an eco-friendly place which has an adventure zone. We've taken them to all the other adventure zones that we know. We expose them to the outside world. We don't only keep them in one place. But I don't, I mean, sit every day and give motivational sessions. No, I don't do that. But I motivate them the way they need to be motivated, by teaching them, making them independent, giving them the skills.
Yeah. And how can the counseling help the students, blind students in the
counseling is needed only, well, counseling in the sense, I mean, they need counseling if they have any stress at home, if they have any difficulties, if they've been abused, if they have low self-esteem, then we counsel them, we motivate them. If they do something, I mean, even if they, I mean, write a spelling right, we encourage them, pat them on the back, say, you've done good. I mean, നന്നായിട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, നല്ല കാര്യം, really good, well done. I mean, you can do it. I mean, we just validate them. I mean, everyone needs self-validation. It's nothing to do with being sighted or blind. There are a lot of, I mean, girl child or boy childs who are having low self-esteem because parents compare them with the other siblings or teachers compare them with other students. So they just need validation and appreciation and encouragement. I think these are the three things that a person needs to improve or to have a high self-esteem or to uh, be catalyzed in order to move further.
I think you have traveled many places, like other countries too. So, how do you, what do you see the difference in the sense, are the developed countries doing well for the differently able people, or how can
Well,
we
yes, those
adopt?
countries. Well, how can we adopt and think? Yeah, this question has been asked in different context. I mean, what can we do for the impaired? How can we adopt? How can we adopt in the sense our government has to adopt certain measures to make things accessible? And we can by, I mean, how you as a college can adopt by making soft copies of your material, of your educational material, making your online platforms more disabled friendly or more accessible, or giving certain accommodations to, I mean, people with disabilities if they come to your college. If you have a deaf person or a, I mean, or a blind person, arrange a soft copy of notes for them, arrange a sign language interpreter. These are the small accommodations we can do from our side, you know, help them if they need help on the road or help them, yeah.
There's a question that there are two terms, differently abled and disabled. How do you see the difference?
Well, I don't see any difference. I just see differently abled is too much. I think this term is not at all needed. Disabled or impaired, impaired is a better term, because when you say differently abled, I mean, sometimes it's very confusing. So a lot of us don't like it. I mean, we just like to be called blind or deaf, or I mean, whatever. That is at least in the international concept. But in India, uh, I think people feel validated when they're called differently able. So it depends. So it depends from person to person, I think.
Yeah. What are the projects done by Jyotirgamaya? Is it only concentrated in Trivandrum, or and how do
No, no,
you
yeah,
perform
it's
your?
concentrated in Trivandrum, and sometimes we go to other blind organizations on invitation and conduct training camps for 5 to 7 days on access technology and interpersonal skills. We also conduct workshops for blind women on SRHR and self-defense and banking applications and things like that.
Yeah. It's almost 8:45, and we have asked only 40 minutes. And so I think the question and answer session is over. I take this opportunity to thank you for your valuable words. This session has been an inspirational session. As we are in the inaugural ceremony of BINOCS 2020, which is said to be for around 12 days of this August and September. We are greatly privileged by your presence with all of us who are participants here. And Al Azhabia Training College is also grateful for your acceptance as our resource person on this first day of our BINOCS National Webinar Festival.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have from today onwards, we have many other speakers like Nandita Krishna from tomorrow. And so we have almost 18 plus speakers, and you are the first one. We are really proud and we are really privileged by your presence. And I think all the participants are also privileged to attend to your session. The messages that I receive here is that you are such an inspiration, inspiring person. And the term that you said you wanted to fly, that's a great inspiration for each and every one of us. So I take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of our college, as well as the coordinators of BINOCS.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much. Yeah, and all
Thank
the
you.
participants, thank you for attending this session. Thank you.